Ask yourself, would you prefer to own the Rolls Royce boat tail, or would you rather I give you a check for $28 million? And the answer to that will tell you everything you need to know about this car. Hi, welcome back. Today we've got a very special video. This one's going to be dissecting the design of the Rolls Royce boat tail, a very unique car. Before we get into it, I want to give a big thank you to having helped me reach more than 150,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and that way we'll continue to bring you the best design content on YouTube, as well as letting you know first about the new merchandising that's going to be coming out very soon. Without further ado, let's get into the design review of the Rolls Royce boat tail. A couple of weeks ago, Rolls Royce finally released the result of about 4 years of intensive work on their side. And this is a vehicle that is absolutely scarce. And when I say scarce, I really do mean scarce, because there are only 3 people in the world who this vehicle was commissioned for. Let's put this into a little bit of a perspective. Not a lot of people in this world have $28 million lying around to spend on a car. It's something that you would imagine somebody like Jay-Z and Beyonce spending on a car. Not gonna say who it is, maybe I just did, but at any rate, how do you spend $28 million on a car and get your money's worth? Now, I think we have to look at this more as an object of art, as an object of desire, than really as a mode of transportation. Starting at the front of the boat tail, the grille, the most dominant part of the front of this car, is actually quite restrained. If you look at it, it's tucked in, not in the usual Rolls Royce way where it's very architecturally formed, it stands proud, you see it from every angle. Here is a great example of restraint. It's pulled back in, still using the exquisite materials that Rolls Royce is known for, the precision engineering of it all. Coming off the top of the grille, we have these super slim LED headlights, very precisely oriented, very precisely positioned in there, and that is the front end character of a Rolls Royce. Not a lot of else going on, not a lot of extra things that need to be added to it. It's just a very vertical face with the very few elements that make it a Rolls Royce positioned in there. Also, what I really admire on this look here, especially from the front of the car, is the absence of shut lines. Normally you would see where the bumper starts and then the fenders begin and then the bonnet or the hood starts. But there's an absence of cut lines here that make it look almost like it was hewn from a single block of alloy. Works extremely well. As we come around the side and you look at this car from the side view, that's a lot of distance with very little happening, but look at it precisely, let it just settle in, soak in the design, and you'll see that there is an extreme amount of care taken to capturing this essence of Rolls Royce, this sort of laid back profile. It's helped, of course, through the shoulder line that extends way in the front, albeit it has a very short front overhang. It starts at the very front, goes all the way back, and just gently glides down to the back of the car. As the bottom line flows underneath, as it gets towards the back, it starts to gently taper upwards, and you get this almost beautiful, almost boat line in profile working on this car. So many companies around today that are just adding creases, adding bulges, adding things to the surface for no apparent reason at all. But the way the boat tail handles these side surfaces is just something out of the textbook of good design. It absolutely communicates controlled refinement. If I move to the back of the car, this is where I start to have a few problems with it. As it comes to the rear, There's almost an extreme taper to the back of the car, which makes it look very pinched in the back. And the lights, the taillights almost being too slim, too small, too unremarkable perhaps, in reference to the whole amount of size of this vehicle. It's not wrong. It just, as a proportion thing that we're used to seeing, a big car tends to have big proportions. It's almost like a 20-inch waist, for example, or a tight ass.
You have no ass.
From a technological point of view, it gets quite interesting. I mean, there are a few things on the back of the car, you know, very, very, very highly sophisticated way to open the rear end up in order to access the picnic arrangement that they have back there. You would probably also notice the very interestingly engineered parasol, which is the nice way of saying umbrella. The butterfly opening doors on the back. The best thing that I can like about that is that it relates to some of the more interesting sports cars opened up, like the Mangusta, or if we want to look at some of the old boats of the 60s, sort of the Riva boats that had the big V8 engines in the back. The most impressive design feature, I think, on the boat tail is basically the side view of this car. That's where it makes sense to me. I've never seen one in real life, but I can almost imagine that this car, wherever it goes, will stop people in their tracks. It has that kind of presence, and a lot of it is down to, obviously, that flowing, accentuated line that works off the shoulder, as mentioned earlier. Now, if you want to see almost a boat representation of what that line does to make the boat or the car look long, check out River Breeze, and you'll see that that line from the front to the back, dropping like that, stretches or elongates the whole boat itself or car itself, and looks as laid back as you can lay back. One last point on the car that I really do not like is the roof of this car. It seems a bit fiddly. I would much prefer to see something much more in harmony with the rest of the vehicle. I mean, I don't even know if it's called the roof, because I don't think you can even drive the car too far with it up like that, but it's called static transitory shelter. Basically, it's just a way to keep the rain off the top of you in the case that it does start to rain a little bit. But apart from that, the rest of the design of the Rolls Royce, if we get into the interior, you're going to expect Rolls Royce quality, exquisite to the max. Nothing is left to being felt that it could have been improved on. In conclusion, what I think this Rolls Royce boat tail, this bespoke vehicle, reflects is the ultimate statement of relaxed ultra luxury. The fact is, this design will basically hold its value in terms of good quality design for many, many, many generations to come, for sure. Most importantly, become increasingly desirable in our world of very chaotic design at the moment. Having said all that, it comes down to giving this car a design rating. And I've gushed on and on about it because I do think it's very, very well designed. Would I want to own this vehicle? Probably not. The collection I could amass with 28 million would be unbelievable. I would never want to die if I owned a collection like that. If I wasn't worried about what the number looks like, I would give it a 7, because I think it's just below being the best designed super hyper luxury car ever. I would prefer the Maybach Vision 6 if I was to drive a car in this category. If you think that this Rolls Royce boat tail is the epitome, the peak of luxury, or is it just a bland, boring, excess waste of money on a car that really nobody needs? Let me know in the comments below. I'll look forward to reading them, and I'll see you again in the future.